My wife FF30s is in love with a coworker, is moving in with her but still wants us to be friends. We FF30s have been together for 13 years, married for 2 years. We were each other's first real relationship. We grew together, did everything together, had ups and downs together and been through it all. It was amazing. We were best friends but also so in love with each other. Our communication had always been great, up until 2 months ago. During the last few months, I've been working on getting a promotion and took some project management classes for which I had to study and write exams before Christmas, as well as a big interview at the beginning of the new year. During that time, I had begun to notice my wife spending more and more time with her new friend, a coworker. I was happy for her, she didn't have many friends at work. I had met this woman the previous month while celebrating my wife's birthday. I had noticed them both being cozy, but figured that was the drunken behavior of the straight coworker. For Christmas we visited both sets of families together and had a Friendsmas on the 26th of December and were really happy, or so I thought. We both had some time off after the holidays, but I had the big interview coming up on the 13th Jan, where I had to give a presentation and was peppered with questions regarding my promotion. So I spent the days I had off preparing, and she even helped me with my presentation. But I noticed her being distant, no cuddles or kisses, which was really unusual, since we have always been very affectionate. Then on New Year's I received a clap on the back instead of a kiss, and I knew something was seriously wrong. The next day I asked her what was up and she told me not to worry and focus on my interview. I asked her jokingly if she didn't love me anymore, and she looked at me and said of course she loves me and we can talk about what's going on with her after my interview. The days before my interview were really weird. I was on edge and seriously thinking something was wrong. Was she sick? Did something happen to someone in her family? I tried to compartmentalize those thoughts and to focus on getting that damn promotion I had worked my ass off for the past year. 4 days before my presentation, it was the night from Sunday to Monday, she woke me up just after midnight to tell me her new friend, the coworker, had broken up with her boyfriend and she was worried she was going to harm herself. I was worried as well and even offered for the coworker to sleep on our couch. My wife then left to be with her coworker the whole night. She came home around 7 in the morning and called in sick to work. The next day she also called in sick and I tried to take care of her as much as she would let me. She didn't talk much about what happened or what was wrong with her, just that she wasn't feeling well. Couple days later it was time for my promotion interview. She wished me good luck, but gave me no other affection. Not even a hug. Again, I tried to compartmentalize it. After the interview I immediately told her how it went and that I would find out the results in the next few days. Then I asked her to talk to me about what was going on with her, because it had seriously worried me the last couple of weeks. Well, apparently she still loves me but is not in love with me anymore. She fell in love with her coworker, who apparently reciprocates the feelings. That's partly why the coworker broke up with her boyfriend. I asked her why she didn't just talk to me. We could have figured out the situation. It's normal to develop a crush now and then. We even talked about it in the past. Apparently they started having time sometime after Christmas and before New Year's. She had no explanation and tried to excuse it with our relationship not being romantic anymore. She still loves me as a friend, but has not had any romantic feelings for me for a while, and this new experience has opened her eyes. She doesn't want to live the rest of her life like this, in the day-to-day mundane life we have built together. I couldn't take it anymore and went to bed. She spent the rest of the weekend at a friend's while I was at home, trying to process. I didn't think something like this would ever happen to us. Never in my life did I think she would hurt me this much. I tried to come to terms with the affair and tried to think of ways to still make this relationship work, because I still love her so much. On Sunday evening we set up a time for her to come back and talk. I was hopeful, maybe she felt the same and there was a way back for us. All my hopes got crushed, as she told me she will move out at the beginning of February, into a room in a shared flat, while she finds something more permanent. Oh, and her coworker? She will also move into the same flat. That was yesterday. Today I called in sick to work because I cried the whole night. I feel betrayed, hurt and sick to my stomach when I think of them together. I still love her so much and imagine my whole future with her. And after 13 years, She just throws our relationship into the trash, douses it with accelerant, and sets it on fire. But she hopes we can still be friends sometime in the future. How can I ever move on from this? I feel so lost. P.S. I got the promotion. Story 2, decided to finally leave. She tortured me, decided to finally file for separation and divorce. My wife changed so much when we had our first kid in September 2020. Like most couples, the first few months were difficult. We were both struggling. Her a bit more with PPD and Arlo was colic. It started to get better, we got into a rhythm, and by month 6 she was texting her ex and hid the fact he slept over while I paid for her to go on a vacation to get a break. It took me a while to pry it out of her, and she assured me nothing happened. I should have left at this point. From that point on, I thought she was overwhelmed with taking care of a child, so I took the kid a lot more so she could go snowboarding, camping, etc., nothing of which was given to me. In my head, I needed to give my PPD partner more help. The ex came back in the picture, and now she wanted to open the relationship so she can have the good time she used to have. Ducked up. Again, I tried working with her to find a solution. The open relationship didn't happen. Months later, she said I was not a supportive partner and wanted an open relationship again, or she'd file for divorce. Tried to tell her this is a bad idea, let's do therapy, let's talk about options. She rejected and pushed this ultimatum. So we opened the relationship and she went along sleeping with 2 randoms. After I told her I'm done, I want to separate, she said she wanted to have the time she had with those randoms with me. Whatever, I gave it one last Hail Mary to try on the relationship, but after months of resentment and terrible visualization of the year of her emotionally and physically cheating on me, I gave up. I request a file for separation. Now we talk about financials. She wants me to bankroll her while she is a SOM for our kid. I married a delusional, selfish person, and I hate myself for so many reasons. I feel inadequate, dumb for marrying such a selfish purpose, naive to trying to make this work for so long, now vulnerable to lose my savings and getting acid kicked in spousal support, child support. Edit. Thank you all for those who were supportive. For the rest, please gain some compassion. I know everything you're saying. You don't need to be rude about it. Story 3, another chump joins the club. Been reading for months, and when I started, I truly thought we'd reconcile. Of course, I 39M never saw it coming and truly thought we'd be that old couple that makes it. Married almost 12 years, together for 14, known her for 20 plus. D-Day was 10:30. No smoking gun, just a gut feeling that made me look at her 39F phone one night. I've never looked through her phone before that night. Like so many others, I wasn't wrong. That gut feeling rarely is. She'd gone to a HS reunion in August. I didn't go with as it involved flights, and we have 2 kids and no local family to watch them. Ends up being a lot of money to see people I barely know and don't care about. I'm the breadwinner. She's been a SOM for 10.5 years since our daughter was born. Looking back, there were plenty of red flags of terrible, abusive behavior. Not as bad as some I've read, but enough that I should have set hard boundaries and walked years ago. Anyway, it seems the relationship kicked off there. She swears nothing happened there and he's not a BF from her past, but I don't believe a word she says anymore. She had a family member go into hospice in September, so I rearranged my work schedule to watch the kids so she could see them one more time. The family member ends up passing, so she extends her stay for a week to attend the funeral. And mess around with her new boyfriend, apparently. Lots of texting via FB Messenger after that, including how they're meant to be together and are so in love. Puke. Even attempts to meet up with him in Nashville to attend a game, which she actually asked me to go to, and I agreed. It's a high school friend. I trusted her then, didn't think anything of it. At the time I was traveling every other week for work, and there were attempts to have him come visit. We live on the East Coast, he's in North Dakota, and she invited him to stay at our house. With our kids. He didn't seem comfortable with that, and they seemed to have had a falling out shortly before D-Day. She went kind of crazy pursuing him, and even after the falling out it was clear she was still strongly in limerence with him. Anyway, my world was devastated. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. Couldn't work. Desperately did the pick-me dance for a week, maybe 2 weeks. Got some support from family, friends, and a coworker who's been through it too and is 2 years into the curve. Learn to focus on me, something I never did in our relationship, exercise, and read. Still desperately wanted her. Or maybe just my comfortable life back where I wasn't so hurt and betrayed. She didn't know what she wants, is lost, it's not about him, loves me but isn't in love with me. And all the other BS lines that we all hear. Somewhere around the beginning of December, I was reading No More Mr. Nice Guy and committed to a firm boundary. AP had to be NC and out of our lives or I would end us. I'd told her in the beginning during the pick-me dance that I was terrified of losing her. Told her that day I wasn't scared to lose her, but just didn't want to. And that I wouldn't hesitate to end us if she didn't respect me. I still don't know if she didn't think I would follow through or truly wants to separate and is just too weak to pull the trigger herself. Ultimately, I suppose she wants her cake. The nice lifestyle I provide but the fun of doing whatever she wants. Like so many others I've read about on here that have helped me learn how to handle this situation. She's selfish and feels entitled. Told her on 1/6 myself on the advice of my attorney your state may be different. Follow their advice and told her they would contact her to arrange to have her served. They've tried to contact, and she's avoided it since. She's always run from her problems and avoided them, hoping they'd just go away. To be fair, I've always accommodated that behavior. Sorry sweetheart, you can't run from this one. I'll take a financial hit. That part sucks, and I'm very soured on marriage as a result. I've always viewed what I make as ours and it was supposed to be. It's BS that she chose this path and is somehow still entitled to my retirement and home equity. But that is what it is. I try not to be too bitter and get hung up on that. I've been focused on skiing with my daughter 10 and playing Nerf guns and plastic army men with my son 5. I continue to exercise. I know there will be a battle coming up because I don't think she's accepted the reality of the situation. She can't fight me for the house and I can buy her out, so she'll have to leave. We're still cohabitating. The state will require her to find full-time employment. She has a 4-year degree, held teaching certificates in 3 states prior, and had a few years of teaching experience before she got pregnant with our daughter. She doesn't want to teach anymore, and told me not too long before D-Day. I can't imagine having to work at a regular job. I roll. Sorry sweetheart, you made the wrong choices if that was the case. I handle almost everything that you would consider adult real life for us. She's effectively a 12-yo trapped in a 39-yo body. Real life is coming at her like a freight train, and when it hits it won't be pretty. I get sad thinking about it, because I do still love her. You can't flip a switch and shut that off, though the feeling is ever so slowly starting to die. Indifference is the goal, and I can almost see it way out there in the future somewhere. I just have to continue to do the work to get there. Anyway, I know this has gotten long, but figured it was time to tell my story. It always helps to get it out, and each time I do a small piece of the weight lifts. I'm lucky to have a strong family, friend, and coworker support structure around me, even though much of it is via phone spread around the country. In addition to just wanting to post this for myself, I hope it can inspire someone whose D-Day was yesterday. Or maybe the same as mine but struggling. Or maybe 2 years ago, tried to R, and is having questions. I'm not saying R isn't possible, or the right path. The other partner needs to be invested in it. And thinking of you, the BS. Not themselves. My STBXW is only focused on one thing. Herself. In the clarity of the moment, looking at our lives, she always has been. Time for me to do better. For anyone still reading and dealing and hoping to find a path forward, here's what worked for me. This sub. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent reading stories and comments. While the comments guide you mostly to leave your cheater, they're not wrong. They're hard truth that takes some time to accept. You can't control another's behavior, and this happens to good people all the time. Thanks to all who post in here, the support is amazing even if you never post a word yourself. Our divorced men is also a good one if you're male, in my situation and not looking to R, and have questions. Lots of support there too. 3 books, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Leave a Cheater, Gain a Life, and The Storms Can't Hurt the Sky. Exercise. I'm not obese, but wasn't in my best shape going into D-Day. I'm down about 15 pounds and after about 2-3 weeks I was able to eat again, So it's not just from starvation. Once you feel better about your body, you'll feel better about dressing well too. Look good, feel good has been my line to myself. Do things for you, no matter how small. Eventually you'll work your way up to big ones. My STBXW invited me to go with her and the kids to something the other day. She continues to keep her head in the sand and act like all is normal, and if she ignores it, it'll all go away. Additionally, I think she just wanted help with the kids so it wasn't so hard on her. I declined. In the past, I'd have felt I had to go, even if I didn't want to. Sat at home, listened to some music I like, and had a beer. It was wonderful. And hopefully a taste of my future life without such a selfish, miserable person hurting me. You can do this. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Push past your fear. Make your life what you want it to be, not what someone who doesn't care about you wants it to be, a doormat meal ticket for them.